Oh, yeah. Hello. Welcome to my channel. One second. There you go. We're going to start back again. Hello. Welcome to my living room where I am bored today and I want to make a video. So, um, as you can see, I'm wearing a t-shirt that says Playboy. I'm in my living room. I am too hot to function. If I could, I would be in my bra. But today I decided that I'm going to do something different, something new. So, what new. So, for some of you, you maybe don't know, this is unfiltered, and by the way, I forgot to say it. And I need you to say one thing. First, I am doing this video just because I like mythology, okay? I love history, I like how tales are told. And I was thinking that making maybe like a segment just for Greek stuff. Oh, well, not just Greek, but mythology stuff that I like, and talk about them in my perspective, how I like them, and also like sprinkle some psychology here. Disclaimer. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a specialist in anything. I don't have any freaking degree. I'm just telling my 2 cents in this kind of millionaire of stories. So basically, I'm gonna play the doctor. I'm kidding. What was that accent? Anyhow, I am going just to tell you some stories that I know about in my version, and also I'm sure you already heard a lot of them, and you're just like, yeah, but yada yada, you're gonna tell the same stories again and again and again. Well, yeah, but with my touch, cause my touch is a little bit different. Okay, so the first thing is, uh, the one that I want to talk about because I was thinking about it while listening to a podcast called Mythology. Listen to it; it's good. It's everywhere. I'm not even sponsored by them, but I like that. So the first story, it was about a character that I didn't visit for a very long time. That also I have a very presumptuous assumption about this guy. Because namely everything about him is just very trendy right now. We like to use that to describe someone that we think is too self-centered, this kind of shit. But we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Different story, different stroke. So I'm gonna tap into different myth that you probably know, like Hercules. But I'm not gonna call him that name. I'm gonna call him by his real name, well, his Greek name, as he was known, Heracles. When I would talk about him, when I would do the episode about him and his fuck up situation, because hey, Disney lied to you, like always we know. Um, of course, we're gonna talk about Perseus, not Percy Jackson, but Perseus, but yeah. And of course, Medusa, her story, and one of the most big insults to women in general, gender, Helen of Troy, if you want to call her like that, but I call her Ellen of Sparta. We're going to talk about her case. And of course, me, I have the focus of a 2-year-old or a toddler who will have ADHD. So it's means that if I get too bored or sometimes I forget, I get too lazy, I will not make videos. But if you remind me by subscribing and also by commenting, yes, do it. Commenting, have like that full fun conversation, get some recommendation if you want and all that, and talk about like some stories that I might gonna look at. Do it. So then it will remind me to do those videos because baby, it takes time to do those videos. We don't do them for free. And when I say for free, it means your subscription. If you subscribe, more people will watch, and more people watching, there will be ads, maybe, or maybe they will say that I'm not kid friendly because I'm gonna cuss a fuckload. And we're gonna, of course, tackle your favorite god, the one that I like the least now that I'm grown up, Zeus. That little piece of something. We're gonna tackle some of his myth, but you will see that he appeared in a lot of different myths, unfortunately. And of course, we're going to talk also of my favorite of all the gods. Yeah, all the gods. It would be Hades and Persephone. Those two are my two favorite. I just love them. And of course, they have a three-headed dog. Come on, man. Anyhow, so today episode for this epic journey. Why do I do that? I don't know. Well, someday I will have like I will be low energy, but today I'm very excited because I finally got my first vehicle by myself. I'm broke, but I'm cool. Anyhow, So today the character is like something that we are use a lot nowadays, especially on social media, to describe someone that we think that is very pompous and just self-centered and all that kind of shenanigan. This character have been there for a very, very long time, where it is mostly seen as the description of shallowness. If you have guessed already what it is, cool. Because that flower, I'm gonna put the flower a name after him or vice versa. We're not sure exactly because different origin will say that the flower was named after him, but he was named after the flower. We are talking about, of course, not Yacintus. Oh, come on, I'm talking about Narcissus. That guy who was just so enamored with himself that he got punished and drowned because he was trying to make out with his own reflection. We're gonna get there, and also my other kind of like cool ass goddess is in there, Nemesis. We're gonna talk about it. So basically, here's how goes the tale. The most generic that people know about Narcissus. Once upon a time, why do I start like that? It's not a fairy tale. So long time ago, that's is still in a Greek myth. That his story started before he was even a full form adult. So when he was a baby, his mom was very, and also at the time, it was culturally speaking that you know what will be the future of your children. So now, since his mom, we're gonna call her like that. I forgot her name. Went to see a very much special dude. I also forgot his name. Great. I am not very helpful with my Greek knowledge and mythology. And also, I'm terrible at pronouncing stuff, so back off. So, she went to see that old dude and ask, "Oh, how great how my son life gonna be?" Because he was a newborn baby and he was able to tell the future. But the thing is, Greek mythology and a lot of those predictions or a lot of those yeah prediction basically prophecy was very elusive for us as modern day people. We understand exactly what they mean by that, but others is just like they don't get it at the time. It's just like too mysterious. Why don't you just go straight to the point? I mean, come on. You'll say that, yeah, your son gonna dethrone you. Which son? I have a crop load. You can eat my balls. Chronos reference. Take note on that one. We're gonna get back to the origin of that. So she went to see that old dude. The guy was like, "Yeah, so your son gonna be gorgeous, the most beautiful that never anybody have ever saw. He's gonna be hot, like the hottest thing, like so beautiful. It's gonna be insane. People gonna lose their shit over him." This kind of rhetoric. And he's like, "But he can live a long and fruitful life if he is humble and doesn't call the side of himself." She was like, "Okay," and that's it. That also was just like, yeah, your son gonna be super hard as long as he doesn't call the side of himself. He's good, and then boom, he's gone. I'll be like, if I was her, I was like, bitch, what about the rest? What do you mean by that? If he doesn't call the side of himself, I mean, I will be like, dude, I work all the way. I just gave birth. That thing came out of my vajayjay. At the time, there was no perineum or anything. You give birth, or you die, or you do both. So went in there and say, well, that's it. I was like, he's already gone. It's like, I'm already bounced. I told my prophecy. I did my thing. I was like, prophecy, poof, gone. And after that, she's go back home and all that. After that, we kind of like forget about the mom. We just know the prophecy that, yeah, he will be doomed if he caught sight of himself because he's too gorgeous for this world. Oh my God. Gods. So he grown up to be exactly that, a very hard piece of meat, like a very well, like Greek kind of sculpture, kind of like, whoo, I would do that, but also probably with the weird on. Side note, something very specific with Greek society at the time in the antics we are well at the time when the myths were all alive, the society were more accepting of people who were sexually fluid, not really much like judging about that, especially for men. So it was the most manly men to be also to have a male attraction to you. So the word pedophilia come from there. I'm not saying that, yeah, it's being attracted to children. It's just a direct the phrasing of pedophilia in the beginning, especially at that time. I'm not saying that yes, it's a thing. It was to say that a man will attract to younger men. So that was, you know, it's still very sus. So anyhow, just mind that in that time they were slightly open-minded when it was their men being able to venture with women and men. So Narcissus does not escape this exception because that guy was so hot. Men, women, and anything that have a sexual organ was after him and be like, damn, he's so hot. He was a hunter, he was quite successful, but a little bit arrogant, a little bit kind of like, yeah, I know, people like me, but I don't care. What I thought about it when I was listening to that podcast talking about the specific thing about him being so eponym of inside narcissist, being just so self-centered, I would not say that he was fully that because different version of the story would not always say that. It would just say that first he fell in love with himself. Others would say, yeah, he knew how beautiful he was, but he didn't give a shit. He was arrogant. He was all of that. But also we have to take into consideration that now, if you're revising and study the character now, we will realize that yes, he was self-centered, but he was also what I would call, that's my personal opinion here. It's not a professional thing. I didn't study any shit there, but I think that he was a kind of like a sort of um ace in there. There was some splash in it of it because he didn't have any interest in any man or any woman, even though they will explain that he was centered on himself. But that will be one of the variation of the stories. It's just that he had no interest in anybody. He just liked hunting and pay homage to Artemis, the goddess of hunt. That's all. That was his main thing. He was just very content with that. But people were throwing themselves at him as like, oh my god, just take me, whatever. Like all these girls were seeing a very rich rapper, Michael B. Jordan, something like that. He's gonna be referred to also a lot in there. So he was a very hard piece, but he was just kind of like, just leave me alone. I don't give a shit. And basically, I would say that his reaction to his defense, and I know it's not great to defend a guy like that, but to his defense, he was sorry, I know how to change that. He was just minding his own business. People decide to follow, well, not decide, they fell in love with him, and he was just like not interested, but decided what to do, being heartbroken and killed themselves. Oh, this disclaimer. Sorry, I want to talk about that too. So YouTube, don't mind me. Or anyway, I don't have that much subscriber yet, so makes just money. Anyhow, so he would just say that to people, okay, well, whatever, I don't care. I am not into you. I am not into this kind of shit. That was him. Period. So when they were like, oh, but I like you. He's like, yeah, but I don't give a shit. I like hunting. Let me leave. I'm fine by myself. I was like, yeah, but you're so beautiful. The thing is, most of people who were falling for Narcissus were not in love with him as a person. They were just attracted to his physical. It was just shallow. So paint him as the bad guy and just turn that word narcissism to something very negative is kind of like a slap in the face because the dude was minding his business. He didn't ask to be born this beautiful, first of all. Oh my god, can I believe I'm defending? Oh, jeez. But the terminology of narcissism became a little bit worse when our good friend, enemy, that piece of shit, Sigmund Freud decided to make that something pretty negative, which is in my French word, pejorative. And just to turn this man from being a sort of like, I would say he had a dual role, a victim and also the villain, because he would just send everybody away and say, well, go fuck yourself or go die. So the most known myth about him is about of course Narcissus, and he always end up the same way. We got the story where he had another comrade hunter who fell in love with him. I forgot his name, but I will find it will be there, who also fall in love with him and was so desperate, like begging him and all that. And Narcissus was just like, no, thank you. And he was just, well, he was super dramatic because, first of all, the fuck, there's other people. Because in a Greek myth, there's a crap load of people who are deemed hot. So he's not the first one, it's not going to be the last. But apparently, turn you to a planet or you go totally nuts about it. So the guy was a younger lad who would like also to hunt with him, and he was smitten by his beauty. He was like, "Oh, you're so beautiful. I'm in love with you." The other one was like, "Bitch, please no. Why would you be in love with me? You just barely know me. We barely spoke and shit." So He was just like, I love you so much. This is the drama queen in him coming in. I love you so much that I'd rather die than not having to be able to share your love. He was like, well, okay, go ahead, bye. Not knowing the guy killed himself, though. He did. It was just like that serious. He went and he killed himself. He took the dagger and was like, ah, in my heart. There you go. That was, first of all, a selfish behavior. And second, it was rude because it was trying to paint the other dude who was minding his business, doing his hunting, being accused to be an asshole because he said no. This is also another way to talk about rejection, but that we're gonna get there. So then he was so sad and he sorrowed because the fact that in Greek myth, if you kill yourself and not having a honorious or glorious death, you cannot go to Elysium, or you will be stuck to Tartarus. But he was stuck in another side of hell, where well, hell, Hades, because it's not hell, it's Hades. It's different. He was stuck in Hades, where he was mourning his love for Narcissus. Yeah, oh my god, I already forgot the name of our main character today. Yay, me. So basically, he was so in sorrow that the Bureau of Complaints calling that vengeance, naming a nemesis, heard about it. She was like, okay, another one about this guy? What is up with this narcissist bitch? She went, she spied on him. She was like, nah, you look normal to me. Well, because she, first of all, she doesn't have any physical desire, anything like that. She will be similar, same category as Artemis and Athena, and be like, yeah, virgin goddess, not having sex, not interested in anybody. We are not fucking yada yada yada. So for her, we're just like, nah, okay, I see. He is not bad looking. It's not, oh my god, it's awful. It's not like one of those chimeras. So it's fine. And she follow him. She see that on the pathway, a lot of people just like keep falling in love with him, even though he doesn't give a shit, and kill themselves or being very sad, being heartbroken because they don't know how to handle a rejection from someone who was probably too much above onto their own beauty. And he was also thinking very highly of himself. Basically, they didn't like it, kill themselves. Bye. Nemesis was just like, okay, enough with those complaints. I need to see that shit by myself. That's one of the version. She goes, she see him, and then she decides to punish him to make him fall in love with his own reflection. So that part is also very tricky because basically there's a lot of different interpretation to it. It's either he had a twin that was so beautiful, but she died, and also she drowned, and he decided that he was so enamored with that twin that he would just try to kiss her, and he drowned himself. Or other version is just that she made him see a female version of himself, like a very gorgeous, fuck yes type of woman. Basically, this is another way where they're saying that yeah, this is like him being straight. Fall in love with it, try to kiss it, drown, same difference, end up to become a plant. The other version that we know as well is just that yeah, he looked his reflection was like, ooh, who's that? And then it's like, oh yeah, that's me. He's so in love. And it's like, oh, I understand why they're so into me, and just try to make up with himself. Boom, dead. So that's the first story. The second story is still the same thing. Narcissus rejecting people, and this time it was a nymph named Echo. If you know what I mean, echo is every time you say something and you repeat it, echo, echo, echo. What do I even? You get it. You get the gist. So basically, Echo was a nymph who is like me right now, love to blab a lot. So in different myths, one myth it was just like her main role before getting punished for that was to distract Hera when Zeus was Zeusing, and the other version was just that yeah, well, she was still kind of like coming back at every god. She had a big mouth, so foot in the mouth happened a lot. And she was one of Artemis's names, the same thing, and she was also punished by Hera. Anything that happened with her is just being punished by Hera. We don't like Hera, by the way. If you're here, you don't like Hera, get the fuck out, unsubscribe, no, subscribe still. So then I can shit on Hera. So she had made Hera so pissed, and anything that she would say, it was just repeating the last word that she heard because she didn't like it. So because of that punishment. She could not have the blessings from the god Asmus, so she cannot be close to the other nymphs. So she isolated herself and wandered in the forest. And one day she see a very beautiful lad who is a hunter, but so gorgeous that she was smitten and fell in love with him. Well, basically with his face and probably his body, but not his. We're not going there. Um, Fell in love with the guy again. Same scenario every time, but the difference is just that every time that she was trying to profess her love for him, she was just repeating everything that he would say, and he would just like, "Damn, she's dumb," and not taking that really a good way. So she went again to our companion chef Nemesis, the Queen of Vengeance. And again, same disposition, same story. So what I want to say here, what I was saying in defense of Narcissus, the guy was sure a fucking ding dong. Yes, he was very self-centered. However, it's just that if you're looking at the story closely, he never asked to look good. He never asked from the gods. It was not a blessing that his mom asked at all. She just went to know if her son will have a long and fulfilling life. And that prophet dude, prophecies or whatever, that dude who were able to do prophecy, good in terms, who decided to say that, well, this is what is going to happen. Instead of like what she should have followed. Well, the thing is, with the prophecy from Greek mythology, you usually end up doing it anyway, even though you try to fight it. You cannot fight fate. So his fate was probably to die young due to his beauty. Because otherwise, we would never remember him as that very gorgeous, unique specimen that nobody seen, like that fucking nice curly beard. Mm, you know, Greek myth. So basically, for in his defense, he was a hunter. His main passion was hunting. He was not really into anybody. He didn't show any interest or to really playing with those people. Some version would just show him as very arrogant. This is where mainly people would take the source of creating the word narcissistic, that you are just so obsessed by yourself, you're so self-centered that you just it just have to serve you. That's where they took that. That's like one of the version that is more known about him. But the other version is just that it was a dude just hunting, living his best life by hunting, paying homage to the goddess Artemis. It didn't show any sexual or loving interest or romantic interest in anybody, male or female. He didn't care. He didn't give a shit. So when we always go with the fact that he's the dark one, he's not the one who's being cool, he never encouraged anybody to fall in love with him. Because basically what they did, it was just a falling for his face. They didn't try to know his personality. And that's the thing. It's just that we are going to the surface level of his personality, and we are just to stop at the shallowness of him just disregard and say, yeah, I know it is I, not a narcissistic, I'm so gorgeous. We just stop there instead of thinking that the man was probably living his life. But yeah, after a moment when you have so many people praising you, praising your beauty, you would just start to believe that, yeah, that's my shit, I am that hot. But the thing is, nobody can, because I'm getting lost here. Because in his mind, for what I am interpreting from this, look at me being full of psychologist there. His approach to his own beauty was just that he was worshipped so much that he also believed like them that he was too good for them. He was too beautiful that they can just admire him from very far away and just say, yeah, that guy is the shit. I want to fuck that. And he believed it, and he believed that he was too good for them. And of course, we take the very negative way of narcissism about it. I'm not defending him and say that, well, I am, but I am not defending him in a way where I would say, oh yeah, he was the absolute victim. He is a complex character, like every character in mythology in general, not just Greek, no, it's like white side, whichever myth that you would like to look at. Everybody have their own stuff. So that was my view about Narcissus. I hope that you learned something today, which is not always the case, but all right. And I hope that now that I told you this version, well, it's not a version of the story because to me it would be like, yeah, I'm too fly, and then she was like, bitch, you're gonna die, drowned, yay, and he turned to a flower. So when he turned to a flower, I would say that there were other version. I think that if I remember correctly, that Apollo saw him because that guy liked to turn everybody to flowers or plants or trees and give them superpowers too. Yeah, we're gonna get to that one too. Oh my god, interesting. Um, and he saw his beauty. He was so sad to see that this guy actually he pitied him because he could not love anything else but him. And it was a sad thing because how come you can live on this world without sharing your love to someone else, basically? Well, that's called being an ace. You do you well, not always, not because they would sound like ace incapable of feelings, but no, they can have romantic feelings, but it's just that they wouldn't act onto the physicality of it. And basically, I think that's what was probably the case also for Narcissus, that he was just content, and he was turned to a flower, a yellow fucking flower. I don't find the Narcissus flower pretty. It's just yellow. It's weird. Maybe I change my mind when I do edit this video. Hopefully, I will be able to edit. But so that was the story that I was having in mind that I was feeling I need to make a video about it, talk about it, and of course my future videos will be maybe more structured, better said, hopefully not too long because I don't want to edit too much about it, and I already am working on my podcast. If you don't know, for some of you when you're around here, I have a podcast. It's called Weird Millennials. It's hosted by me and my good friend Abid. Both of us, we are actually talking about everything like society wise, the influence of relationships and this kind of thing. It's really cool. You should go check it out. We are everywhere on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all this kind of thing. And also, of course, we do have an Instagram page and a YouTube channel. I would suggest you to go so follow us there. It will be really nice and really helpful for just to having your support like that, just to watch the video and just to share as much as you can. That will help us grow and also to yeah, maybe the dough. But we're not asking you to pay anything. Just spend 2 hours of your life listening to us going back and forth about different conversation about being weird millennials. And of course, I want you to subscribe to this channel where I'm going to talk about all this myth and stuff. So if you like it, share it, subscribe, and comment. I will really appreciate. I will see you next time. I don't know again which Greek people I'm gonna tackle next, or any other myth that I have to that I am still have a knowledge about and tackle next, and look kind of like smug when I explain to you. But it was a little bit of I don't know even how I'm gonna call this series, but hey, let's do the best we can. So if you like it, like it. I'll see you next time. See ya. Well, I'll see you next time and also enjoy your evening, your morning, whatever time you watch this. I sound like I'm just talking the stuff that I used to do in my previous channel or for tarot reading. Don't go there. I was done with that part of my life. Now I am more interested to just tell you some crazy shenanigans. And of course, there will be a squeeze my French. I know. I promised that for a long time, for actually a freaking year. And I need to make videos about it. I'm sorry to rant here, but you get what I mean. Have a lovely night. See you later, minions.